Fullmetal Alchemist: The Valley of White Petals, the exciting novel based on the anime and best-selling manga series. Under direct orders from their commanding officer, Edward and Alphonse journey to a remote city deep within the wasteland borders of Eastern Command. Almost immediately, the Elric brothers discover that Wisteria isn't exactly a normal place. Veiled in shadows, it appears to be a utopian wonderland, ruled not by military command, but rather by the very laws of alchemy that guide their own personal fate. Like it or not, the brothers must make the biggest decision of their young lives. Do they follow orders and expose the secrets of Wisteria, or will they allow themselves to be seduced by the paradise they discovered? This is my favorite one, hands down. It's as you can see by the subtitle, I'm a very nature guy, and I like to take pictures of the cities or mountains, landscapes, things like that, and how this book described nature, it's so beautiful. And not just because that the nature is so beautiful in this particular novel, it has a lot of meaning to it. And so, before we get into that, it's once again by Makoto Inoue, an original concept by Hiromu Arakawa. This is volume 3. This is the third novel, the third book of this Inoue series of light novels, and I just finished reading it, and gosh, I can say that this is one of the best. But this is my favorite. This is my favorite, not just because of the nature type. It's because of, as always, the characters and the depth within what they're going through. So, what about this? So, let's just start with the characters, like always. Before we get into let's just get into the story. I won't spoil anything, because that will be kind of rude. I mean, if you hadn't read any of these, please. I know there's a little bit of time to read. If you're not a reader, it's really hard for you to be like reading a lot. I wasn't a reader, and this totally changed my way of thinking. So let's see. So I read the plot, more or less, you guys know. So it's basically the brothers were in this obviously in the journey for the Philosopher's Stone, but then Colonel Roy Mustang was in search for disappearance of not disappearance, is something like people going out of that certain place. They go directly to somewhere that it's happy, and this story in particular hits the those kind of thematic that it's within one's inside of human being as itself of personality, and hiding who you are. And for this one, it's like it's something that we see today, and this story hits me so very deep, just because it not just the Alphonse and Elric had to make decisions, and really hard ones. It's just that it made me reflect to myself if I if I accept who I am, or if what I am is what people have to see. Um, this teaches transparency, and the wisteria, the place, the town, is it's like a paradise. Let's just say it's a wonderful place, just like it describes it in the summary. So it's basically it is a paradise. I mean, from the outside it looks beautiful, but as the brothers get into the to know the people, to know the good and the bad, and they realized there's no such place as a perfect place, a paradise that everything is so perfect. And that's what this story is about. It could be really pretty in the outside, but in the inside it could be very, very trash. And so there's this character. Let's go into the characters. I will jumping here and there with the plot and story, because the plot and story. Well, the plot, the story, and the place and the characters, they all need to go together in one, because it's about the place, but it at the same time it's about the people who are in this place. So there's this guy called Reigen, that he is the leader of Wisteria, and he's in the outside. He's a really nice guy. He is this certain guy that is a really concerned leader for their people, and for those people who come in, he always welcomes them, but in a way that you have to make something equivalent to work in this place. So his ideology of equivalent exchange will be something for him, and his people will be, I work for you and I'm going to give you something at that high of a price, something that if you something that you earn equally to what you did. And when the elder brothers heard about that, I mean, we all know that in Fullmetal Alchemist world, when you say equivalent exchange, it's something that it's taboo. And it was really weird for me to just accept equivalent exchange isn't that type of kind of taboo thing. But no, it was something that he implanted into its people, of that kind of equivalent exchange. So there was Reigen, I mentioned him. There's a new character that's Ruby. She appears here in the front of the book. That's her. Yeah, you can see here. She is she's most likely like Edward, hot-headed. They're both exactly the same as in attitude, and I liked her. I liked how she is in this type of story, and they handle it pretty well. The writer handled her pretty well, and for me, this character in particular was that type of turning point in the plot, which I won't spoil it. You need to read these kinds of books. I mean, they're awesome. Just to talk about them, at least. It's not just the anime or manga, but also the novel. And so there was Ruby. There was characters named Nail and Leaf. Leaf was my favorite. Wow, Leaf. Leaf was the most impactful thing in this story. Um, Leaf was the one with the if you're gonna read it, uh, the the one with the white paddles. And for me to just understand these kinds of metaphor of nature and human problems are so freaking um, good at the same time, but you need to like me myself, I need to like understand what kind of metaphor are you trying to uh, the message that you trying to mix with these two things. But at the end, I won't spoil the end because that's illegal. At the end, it's something that uh, you get this ending of satisfaction of wow, that is why. And for me, this the characters as Alphonse and Elric, the Elric brothers here were like in this mission. They were like trying to investigate deep in what Reigen and these people were doing. I mean, their people. I forgot to tell you, their people were miners. They were digging kind of like gold or something, and there were this people of rich, and there were these people poor, and that's where Edward was kind of like, wasn't this equivalent exchange, if I'm pronouncing it right? And that's where Edward was like, okay, there was something wrong here, and he went deep in search and tried to tell Alphonse. Alphonse on the other side, there was this scene, not a scene, just a piece of the chapter that one guy asked him that, do you accept who you are right now? He's asking this guy, regardless of his past, because the character had to do with the story also, that he has asked Alphonse that question, but that certain character didn't look to the past. He just looked to the present, which was important for Wisteria, for the people in it, in the Wisteria. And Alphonse was like, it was a hard-ass question. For me, if I would have been in Alphonse's feet, it's like, it would be, if I say I would accept it, that I wouldn't like my human self, and I will be very selfish for being a human being. But if I do, in Wisteria, I will be looking in the past and not looking in the future, something like that. He said other things which I won't tell. But it's that kind of decision that Alphonse and Edward need to like put their minds into it a lot. In terms of the writing of this book, easy to read as always. Also, there's the pictures, not pictures, drawings, the art. Let's see if I can find one over here, which didn't get. Go. That was Alphonse and Eric chatting. And for me, the best thing of this volume was that the Elric brothers were actually dealing with themselves too, inner selves. This is, I told you, this is like a paradise with people with equivalent exchange ideology. There were awesome people in there, but also there were bad people. But yeah, it's something that it hit them, because the people there also not brainwashed. They were just like, believe in something, believe in hope, or stay away from the military. And once again, this one hits like the military problem and the seek for peace in these kinds of people's mind. It's like we want peace. We don't want the military to drag us over to. We want a better place. We want something that we want forever in peace, and that's one of the main goals of these kind of people. And for me, I can say that it's something that it's happening today. And socially, some people are looking for peace and they want to look for a paradise to live. But in the whole world is today in which we live, us, me, Zyberpunky, it's something that paradise is it's nowhere to be found here on Earth. It's so hard to seek some peace. And for a leader like Reagan to seek peace for people, and it turned out to be something that it didn't turn out really well. It's really hard to just think today that leaders like Reagan seek for peace, but you need to give someone some equivalent exchange. But if you don't, you're gonna get in trouble. There are also fights in this one, which I really like. There was like 2 or 3 fights maybe, and I like them. Let's see. I won't spoil again. The fights in this one are really descriptive, just like the first one and the second one. This one had hand-to-hand combat too. There was action, yeah. There was the dialogue. Let's see, the dialogue. Dang it, the dialogue here is like, it's heavy, but it's necessary. Just because that this one particularly has not a lot, doesn't have a lot of action. It has a lot of investigation, knowing the characters. This one is like the longest one of the 3 that I read, the 2 that I read. There's 2 more to go, which I'm gonna read them and review them. But yeah, it's the dialogue here is very fast pacing too, because they're talking within the action. They're also talking when things are calmed down too. The chemistry with Alphonse and Ruby, gosh, that hit me. You will see that this chick in this Ruby in this in this story, Alphonse, if he was in human form, I will be like, man, Alphonse, I really want you in human form so you not feel like love, because he is a soul in an armor. Poor guy. But yeah, Ruby and him had a little bit of chemistry here, and I loved it. I loved it because it's not that there is romance in this. No, there's none of that. It's friendly, really good chemistry, and at the end you will see like, okay, this is what I wanted to be, and it is so satisfying at the same time that Alphonse himself was have other decisions. He needed to look for the Philosopher's Stone and leave some character like Ruby behind, because she had other things to do. And well, this story is really impactful, just as the characters, the place, Wisteria. This book in particularly changed the way I see nature. because nature in this one has a lot of meaning. Not because of certain character, which is Leaf, and you will see it in the book, right? I think it was the second chapter. This has 5 chapters, just like the second one, and the impactful of the meaning of nature and humans is so good that it's undescribable. I can't say until you like experience yourself with this one. I could consider this my favorite one because characters that need to do with nature and with the place itself. And for the ethic and moral issue in this one is that people could be really good in the outside, just like I told you in the beginning of this video, but really bad in the inside. Just like the place in Wisteria, there was the rich and there was the poor place. And you could see that how people think about the others, how different they put people when they don't earn the same amount as the other type of people. And that's what we see today. And as I told you, it's inside a place there's always something that is controversial, and sometimes we had to like deal with it or fix it. And fixing it and acting it, this is in this one, it was like they did a really good job. Wow. My favorite character in this one was Leaf. He is just a kid. Just a kid with not just stuck in the past, but looking in the past, that he never forgot where he went out from. That is why he outside from spoilers, can't say that. It's beautiful. All I can say this one is really beautiful. I can say that in so many ways that Fullmetal Alchemist, the Valley of White Petals, is one of my favorites. And I really want to, let's see if something's left out. Oh, of course, there's some characters that are introduced here that are from the manga and anime, not just as Mustang or the Elric brothers. There's also characters that didn't appear in previous novels that introduced here, and they appear in the 2003 and 2009 Fullmetal Alchemist. And yeah, for me, an adaptation for this one, it has to be either an anime film, or I think the far as they can go is anime film, or just leave it in the book because it's so perfect here. I won't get into details of what adaptations could be better or not. I mean, people could get inspired by Fullmetal Alchemist and just do from a novel and just throw on a big screen. But for me, it should stay here. This one. It's so easy to read. So when they describe the things that was happening, whether it was action, whether it was the place, what was happening, it was so beautiful. Aside from what was nature and all that, even how they describe how Edward put his hands like this and just takes out a blade in his right arm, it's so freaking good. even that. So I'm just gonna leave this here. I started a lot in this video, and that's because I had a lot of thoughts in my mind. I could have easily do a really decent review of this, but there's a lot of stuff here that once I finished reading, I finished reading today, so I just wanted to do it today, as refreshed, as fresh as my mind is to review this awesome and unique story of the Fullmetal Alchemist, the Valley of White Petals. Alright people, I hope you liked this video. If you don't, well, I'm sorry. This is really natural review. I started, I say something, then I retract them, but yeah, maybe I'll edit this one. Alright guys, please don't forget to favorite, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for supporting the channel. As always, I'll see you guys later.